Hello, hello, it's June Olson, and why am I frozen? Let's see. Um, oh, come on, computer. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if it's showing. Let's see. All right. Not sure. Okay, there we go. We got that. Let's reset this. Not sure what's going on here. Hello, hello. Looks like, yeah, like things didn't stay set the way they were. I have having a light problem here. Let's see. Nope, frozen there. Not sure what's going on. Can you hear me okay? Can you see anything? It's not even showing up on my Facebook page as going. Let's see. Here we go. It's frozen there. All right. Not sure what's going on and why it's behaving like this. There we go. All right. Not sure why I'm frozen over there, but at least I'm not frozen here. Hello, hello. So we can go ahead and move along and see what happens. Why is that not happening? All right, I'm not sure. It was all set and working just a moment ago. So I don't know what happened to the camera. I was actually watching Rachel Tessman, a video of hers, and she was having camera issues too. I really didn't need that to happen. She had a coughing fit and I had one at the same time. So I don't know what's going on, but this is working. We are here. Let's figure out the focus. Okay, now it's working. All right, let's just move along because I've got a couple cards for you. So let's go ahead and play. This is the March 2026 Fluttering Garden Paper Pumpkin. It came in our wonderful usual polka dot box. I think it would have been really pretty if they'd given us a box with not butterflies, hummingbirds all over it, but they didn't. They gave us the usual, which I really like, and it's super fun, and I like to use them. You can put an address label over this, and you can use them for mailing because they're a fun box for someone to receive. They are an all-inclusive kit, so all you have to do is add a pair of scissors. Everything else is in the kit. And last week we made the cards as designed, and I'll show you those in a moment. And so that you can just keep making all those cards. So it's 3 of each cards, 3 designs. So you get 9 cards and you can have 3 of each, and you're not going to send them all to the same person. I don't know why I'm like talking to the camera because you can't see me. You're not going to send them all to the same person. So it's okay if you make all the same cards. But if you're like me and you're like, oh, I don't really necessarily want 3 of the same cards, I want a variety, then this is where the alternates come in. And there are lots of folks doing alternates. I do alternates. Rachel Tessman is a big one for alternates. You can search Paper Pumpkin Fan Club on Facebook and join that, and Rachel runs that and some others, and they do all kinds of alternates on there. There's lots of groups out there for Paper Pumpkin and for alternates. There's lots of demonstrators out there doing alternates. So I am not the only place that you can find them, but I am one of the places you can find them. So this January, February, March kits had dies that coordinated. They are sold out, but if you got them, they are the stamp, the flowers, the leaves, and the word beautiful. I was going to use it today, but then I thought, well, since you really can't get them anymore, maybe I won't. Maybe another time, maybe next week, I'll show you them and we'll go ahead and use them, because some of you probably did get them when they were in the online store. And kudos to you. Just as an FYI, for the next quarter, we have these stamps, the Wonderful Scenes stamps. So it's got like this little for sale signpost. It's got fireworks, butterflies, flowers, and the word wonderful. So if you want them, get them now before they sell out. Well, you know what? Let me just double check. I don't think they're sold out. Let's find out for sure. And yes, they are still available. There's actually some other ones in there that are available from the past that you can also use, because it's got a tag and a fern leaf and the word Mary. So Mary, maybe not so much, but definitely these are in there. So don't wait. Don't wait, because when they're gone, they're gone. And I only buy one set and I keep them because I use them. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So in this one is an ink spot. It's basic gray. I like to use my larger stamp pad, and I use these as giveaways, or when I do odds and ends boxes, I stick these in there. And odds and ends are just all my leftovers from cards, from kits, and things that I just don't have time to play with as much as I would love to. So I throw them in a paper pumpkin box. I have a sticker that I put over this saying odds and ends, and then there's stamps in there. There's some blocks in there, and the inks in there, and then all kinds. Sometimes there's card bases, sometimes envelopes. It could be things that I cut and made or started during lives and never finished, or extras from kits that I never got to play with. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're ever like, man, I just need something to spark some inspiration. I do sell odds and ends kits, so you can reach out to me and ask about that. So in your very first box, when you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you get a Paper Pumpkin block, and that is being used then for all of your stamps. And this kit actually had 2 stamp sets because it was the anniversary kit. Let's see, it goes this way, and this, there we go. I know how it goes. It goes this way and this way. So we have wishing you a happy anniversary, hello, best wishes, and then we have the 2 birds. We have some flowers, some spatter, and then we have some more dots, some leaves. We have this beautiful stamp that we used last week. We have this one and this one. So great, great stamps, and we'll be using some of them today, but not all of them. And then these are the no-fail instructions, because it completely, my light keeps going out, and I bought a new bulb. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that will work. Am I getting unfocused again? No, it's focused. All right, so we have our no fail. So there's 3 different cards, 3 of each design, plus beautiful coordinating envelopes. On the back, it shows you the dies that coordinated with this set that are no longer available. It shows you all the ingredients, and it tells you our coordinating colors: balmy blue, coastal cabana, early espresso, gorgeous grape, old olive, peach pie, petal pink, pretty peacock, and smoky slate. So then we had our ingredients page here, and it tells you card 1, card 2, card 3, all the ingredients from the kit that goes with each of those cards. And then last week we made the cards, so you can go back to last week's instruction, or last week's video, and you'll be able to see how I made the cards, how I put them together. We have our embellishments. We have, I guess I stuck an extra one in there. We have our dimensionals and embellishments. And then this was card 1 with that beautiful stamp. All right. And then our 2 gorgeous hummingbirds. And then we had this one with this huge thank you. It's not a stamp, it's a cutout. We did stamp these along the bottom, and then we added the gems. And then we had this one, have a beautiful Mother's Day, and we had more of that stamping. So super pretty, elegant cards. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so first we're going to do a little bit of mixing and matching. All right, so we have the cards here. All right, and so I want to kind of look at them to see which ones do I want to mix and match. I'm going to take out one. We'll do one mix and match where we kind of change it up a little bit. And then I've got one that's not a mix and match where I'm bringing in some outside color. I'm bringing in some Coastal Cabana. So then I want to make sure to show you something a little different. So I think, you know what? I think we're going to use that circle one. Here we go. We're going to use the circle one. All right, I'm going to bring in this. We're using the basic gray. So I'm going to set these up here for a moment just so that I have some space to work. And my light went out again. I trust you can see. I'll move over here. Maybe we can brighten this a bit. There we go. Try that and see if that works. All right, so then we're going to use, yeah, when I do lives, I really ought to have more space cleared out. All right, I think we're going to use this one and this one. Let's turn those over. And what I do is I took, because I've done lots of kits, so I have lots of blocks. And what I did is I glued, using the Stampin' Seal Plus, I glued 2 blocks together, and that made it about as thick as our regular block. So excuse the color of my hands. That was so that I lightened this up. We're going to go ahead and stick this on here. And this one over here, and I'm still frozen up there, so just watch the hands. All right, which I forgot to put rings on. I forgot to, yeah, it's been one of those mornings. It's been one of those weeks. I apologize for missing the kit together this week. We will do that tomorrow. I will post a time for you. It's been a week. It's been a week of appointments, expected and unexpected, with the visit to the urgent care. Dad had a fight with the hamper lid and lost, tore off some skin off his finger, and we weren't quite sure how to bandage it because it was such a large piece of skin that he tore off. So we decided we should go, and it kept bleeding. It wouldn't stop bleeding. So we just decided, you know what, we were going to go to urgent care and get some learning on how to bandage that thing. And yeah, it's a doozy. All right, so we're just going ahead and adding in this other flower. So it's kind of a mixture. I'll show you in a minute. It's kind of a mixture of this one and this one. So we used that other little flower here and just did a line. This one went around, but I decided to do it on each side. And that pretty much covers that circle, but we're going to go ahead and, where's the other? We're going to do a hello, because I really like that hello. All right. This one hasn't been used yet. All right, and then we're going to take our sentiment piece that says have a Mother's Day. We're going to flip it over and use the other side, and we're going to do hello, which just barely fits in there, but it fits. All right, there we go. All right, we're going to do the hello. Actually, we should have. I'll use that on a different card. I think we're going to switch it to this one because that's going to go there beautifully. And then I want to use the big boy, this guy, on it So we're kind of mix and matching. Like I said, let me just double check that that's really what I want to do, because now I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's too big. All right, so we're basically kind of mix and matching these two up a little bit. So I think we're going to put him here like that, and then we'll put the hello there. Where'd it go? All right. So, all right. All right, I want to make sure I get that nice and juicy, well inked. There we go. And of course, if you feel like your ink is not dark enough, you could use black. You could re-ink it because maybe it needs to be re-inked. Or you could use the stamp positioner, and then you could just keep re-inking it. I guess it doesn't go that way anymore. It goes up and down. I haven't used it yet, other than on stage. So I'm still working that out. You'll see it soon, though. So we're going to put dimensionals on this side. And so right now I've just used everything that's in the kit. I haven't brought in anything extra. I've just changed up the card by stamping differently and by mixing up the birds. Call them birds instead of hummingbirds, just because I'll remember that better. So then we've got the hello. And then we're going to put this right here. So we need some dimensionals, and minis came in the kit, but this is such a big bird that I'm going to use my regular sized ones because I want to make sure. Let's see. Yep, his tail will also need one. So we're just using what's in the kit, so you can make all the cards in the kit and just mix and match it, and then you don't have to do anything else. You can do other things, of course. Always an option. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, oh, I already stuck that down. How solidly is that stuck down? You know what? It's already stuck, so we'll leave it, but I'm going to add some of those dots, but I'm going to use the real minor ones, not the big messy set. All right, so can you see that? Here we go. Needed to zoom in for you. You just got to tell me, zoom in, June. All right, so we're just going to add a few dots, but we're going to stamp off. So I'm already got a messy side. I'm going to get this side messier. Here we go. And that just adds, that takes away some of the white, because you know I'm just not big on a ton of white. So there we go. I like that. Here we go. Now, if you wanted to add more color, you could certainly color in some of this stuff. You could make the leaves a little bit more, you know, add some color to the leaves and the flower if you wanted. But if not, and you're okay with the bird, the hummingbird being the pop of color, then this is one way to do it. So what we did was I looked at these two, and I kind of mixed them together by, I did this circle, but then I added in these flowers, and then we used this bird, but I went ahead and kept the circle, just flipped it over and used the stamp. So there we have one. And then on the inside, because I love this stamp so much, we're going to use that drooping one, or what I call a drooping one. And I'm going to put it over here on this corner. This, because isn't it just so beautiful? I love this stamp. I'm telling you what, You will see me use it a lot throughout this whole kit because it's just beautiful. And then I'm going to just add a few dots here and there. All right, I love that. I love that. So hello, let's see, what do we have on here? We have happy anniversary, birthday wishes. Wishing you a happy, we can do that on the inside. I don't have very many anniversary cards. That would be a useful addition to my collection. So we're going to go ahead and do on the inside, wishing you a happy anniversary. All right, do we need anything else? You know what, we're going to use these little flowers. I'll just do the other side here. Let's see, do they go in a direction? I think they kind of go in a direction. Oh, those are super pretty. We're going to do that. And then this. This. And there we go. All right. Love it. So again, you could add color by coloring in everything, but I love having this as that pop of color. All right. So that is card 1 today. Excuse me. The next card, we got to do some cutting. I have a piece of Coastal Cabana that we're going to fold in half like this. Whoop. There we go. All right. So it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored or folded at 4 1/4. We're going to be doing this way. And let's see, oh, I cut that too short. Hang on. Or I grabbed the wrong one. I cut it too short. So let me go ahead and get my trimmer, which is behind these cards. And I need it at 5.5. I thought that looked kind of short. It needs to go across the whole thing. This card is inspired by a pre-retreat challenge for Creative Vate by Sharon Armstrong. So that's going to go across there. All right. And then we're going to trim. There we go. Let's get this out of the way. We're going to trim our envelope. All right. We're going to trim our envelope. First, we're going to just take off the edge. All right. That way we can just open it up and use both sides of it. All right, so I just trimmed off about 1/8 of an inch. All right, so now it can open like this. We're going to trim right above these flowers. So I want to make sure not to see them in my cutting line. All right, here we go. Not to see them in my cutting line. Don't throw this away because you can still use it. And then we want this one to be 2 inches. All right, so we're cutting off just a little bit of the flowers. It's actually, we can go 2 1/8 and we cut off less than. Keep this because you can still use it. Actually, let's go ahead and cut it down. Oh, this has to be 2 by 5. So we're going to cut this side at 5 1/4 because I want the flowers to go all the way across. And we're going to cut this side at 5, and that way we get rid of that extra blue. We've cut off just a little bit of the flowers, but not enough to have it be gone. I'm going to take this down just a notch. There we go. All right. Here we go. So now we have, whew, that got super dark, didn't it? It just barely. I'm not sure what's going on with the camera or the light. All right, so we have the bottom of the envelope cut like that, and it's going to go on here. Hold on. Oh, 5.5. Oh, I cut too much. All right, well, I'll do that for a different card then. Let's go ahead and grab another envelope. Good thing we got more. And yeah, because it's supposed to be the right edge all the way around. So let's do this again. We're going to cut off the envelope. And for the other side, I like to use the bottom of the trimmer just so I can have this flat edge there. And then again, we're going to cut here so that we don't see any of our flowers in the cut line. All right, I got lots of envelopes to play with now. And then this one we want 2 1/8. And then on the side, if we have it at 5.5, I think I need, because I went longer, I'm going to go with cutting this edge off just so we get rid of some of that Close to Gabbana. And cutting this one off. Here we go. And now let's see. Okay, much better. I guess we need a thicker edge right here. All right, so then, oop, not done. Then we're going to use this, part of this, as our layer on here, as our DSP layer, and we're going to stamp on this. So we need our layer. Let me just look real quick. Our layer is the 5 1/4. Wrong way. We want it 4 by 5 1/4. I know my layers. I don't know why I even had to look at that. 5 1/4. Don't get rid of this because this is 1/8, or this is 1/4 inch, and you can still use it for things. All right, now I think I've got that all done. So let's see. So this is going to go here like this, and then this one is going to go like that over that. All right, okay. So you could also emboss this. It looks like it is embossed, so I'm going to leave it alone this time around, but we are going to do some stamping. And because we have these flowers, I'm going to go ahead and use, actually, I'm going to use these. I decided just right now at the last minute, I decided to switch it up and not do what I was originally going to do. I'm going to use this one and our gray. And I'm going to stamp off because this is already kind of light, so I don't want this to be, I want this to be my focal point, so I'm going to stamp off. Let's see, where is this going to go? There we go. Like this. So I'm going to use a pencil. I'm going to use a pencil to just kind of mark where it's going to be. So I know I don't need to stamp in that area because it's going to be covered anyways. All right, so here we go. Stamp off. There we go. And just kind of go across, and I'm trying to move it and not keep it at the same angle the whole time. All right, so stamp off. Stamp off. And then I want to add some dimension to it, so we'll go over it. Oh, why is that not? So make sure you don't rock it, that you go straight down, straight up, and not too fast. There we go. Doing a little bit of overlapping. There we go. All right, how often do you stamp off on something when you are making a card? All right, here we go. And I'm just going to do some overlapping to give it a little more depth. There we go. So I'm going to stamp off twice to give that lighter look. Stamp, stamp here. And that, the lighter look makes everything look like it's gone behind. All right. There we go. Stamp off. Another one there. All right, and I have some white space over here. All right, here we go. All right, so I've added that, and that's gonna work right there. Okay, so now we're going to glue. We're going to glue this onto here, and I forgot my glue. You'd think I was a total newbie the way I'm going today. Jeepers. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and stick a pin in it. There we go. All right, now let's try it. There we go. Come on. There are days and there are days. This has just been one of those weeks, but it's all coming together. All right, so we'll do the kit together live tomorrow, because I definitely want to show you those kits. I was so excited, but my days have just not been coming together. So we're going to pop this up on dimensionals. All right, and so this envelope, this is actually Coastal Cabana. It's just a lighter shade of Coastal Cabana, so that's why I chose this shade. If you want other ideas than what I'm doing, like I said, there's lots and lots of people out there who do alternates. I like to do the weekly thing where the first week that I get the kit, I make the cards as they designed, and then each week after that, I do 1 or 2 alternates per live, just to give you some ideas of things you can play with. Ooh, we should glue this onto the card base. Again, if you wanted to spruce this up a little bit extra, you could go ahead and emboss this. It just already had that embossed look. And make sure if you do, you emboss it after you stamp it. You don't want to stamp it first, or you don't want to stamp it after, because the ink will not catch well if you do that. I keep looking at the camera like I'm talking to you from the camera, but that's just not happening. All right, so here we go. All right, there we go. That lines up with that. So this is a center, what's this called? Oh, it doesn't have a name. So it's a focal, there's a focal layer to it. All right, so then what we're going to do is take our trimmer and we're going to trim off I just saw Rachel do this and I thought it was a really cute idea. So we're going to trim off the have a like that. And so what she did is she lined it up to where this side was on the 3/4 inch, and that way she just cut off what she needed. And then what she did is she took her have a and the beautiful from the kit, put a little bit of glue right here. I thought that was a cute idea. Instead of doing it like they had it, it just made it lined up. And then line up have a beautiful right there with that. So that way, instead of in the block, you could do that with it. So I thought that was a cute idea. So I thought, well, sweet, I'm just going to go ahead and borrow that idea for this card because I was already planning this card and I was trying to figure out how was I going to do the sentiments. So we have a beautiful, let's see where we want this. We're going to put this on dimensionals. And another trick I learned from her, it was quite a nice little video today. Another trick is she cuts this in thin strokes so that she has these thin ones. I thought that was brilliant. I always use mine, so that's nothing new. But to cut thin little strips off of it instead, something's not coming, here we go. Instead of cutting chunks out of it, that was new to me. That I was like, oh, that's an idea. I'm not sure if I've done that before. There's a good chance I have because, I don't like to waste mine either, but not 100% sure. So then I'm going to stick one right here. That's close to it. And then I need another little piece for over here. Didn't quite get it all the way down, and I don't think, see, this one could go here. But I need a little piece right there. So I'm going to cut off the other side. I'm going to cut another skinny one part ways. The paper jumped on me, but not this. All right, so yeah, I always use everything on my dimensionals sheet. Like I'll even save this one, put it back over here on this sheet to use for another time, because that's just how I roll. All right, so we're gonna put here, have a beautiful, and then we're gonna stick this one here. I was trying to decide if I wanted all three. No, I don't want all three. Do I want this one or do I want this one? I kind of like that one. So we're going to put that on dimensionals. It is small, so we're going to go ahead and use the mini dimensionals, and then, oh, got that a little too low. All right, got to twist that one off because I got that too low. Just that one wing is going to stick out, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue over here. There was only dimensionals in this kit. Normally they have some glue dots or something, but in this kit this time around there was only dimensionals. And then we're going to put the mini dimensionals on this hummingbird all the way and plop him over here like this. All right, so then we have our Have a Beautiful. Now on the inside, you could just leave it and write on here because it's light enough. You could put a white layer if you're like me and you have a whole bunch of 5 1/4 by 4s or 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. Whatever size you want in here. But I thought since we had this, we'd go ahead and use this inside. So let's go ahead and move that and do this like that. And then this is just a little bit off, so I'm going to trim that up because it was sticking out funny. Same with this one. And again, when I have something like that, I like to go down to the bottom part of my trimmer. And then we're going to go ahead and cut this part off. Okay, the flap was not decorated, so you can use this if you want for something, for some card, but we'll go ahead and do this. Whoop. And see how that works in there. All right, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping again on the inside, just to kind of coordinate, but just not as much as we did with the other one. Where'd my leaf go? All right, so we're going to do this, and again I'm going to stamp off, but I'm just going to do some corner ones, and then we'll stamp it over here like this, and then like that. And I'm gonna get that third one. Just lost my voice. All right, see, I'm not used to talking as much as I used to. There we go. Oh, I did them too low. Oh well, that's okay. It's all good. So then we're going to go ahead and ink over here, and then just down the sides. That way we don't have any glue where we're actually writing. Because I don't know, I have found that if I have glue all squiggled through, it doesn't write as well. Because I feel the bumps from the glue. All right, so just because I can't squeeze that in. Yeah, oh well, no worries. We could do one flat out on there. There we go. All right. And then we have a Beautiful. We could do birthday and block out the wishes, or a beautiful anniversary. Let's do anniversary. Birthday. We have the Mother's Day. That's a little too small. I was trying to think, did I have a Mother's Day stamp? I don't think I have a Mother's Day stamp. What was in the Celebrate Spring one? Was it just Easter? I happen to still have this sitting here. Sweet Spring, hello friend, happy Easter, sweet spring greetings. So that's not going to work. All right. Well, it was worth a shot to see whether we had them. All right, let's do let's do the anniversary. Like I said, I don't have very many anniversary cards. I have tons of birthday cards. As a matter of fact, my husband asked me yesterday for a birthday card, and I said, go choose one. And he's like, well, I don't know where they are. And I said, well, they're in my rack. And he's like, well, I'm not sure which one to choose. And I said, there are so many to choose from, you just can't lose. So we gave him one from I gave him one from a past kit with the thistles on it, and he liked that one because we do have thistles around here, so it was perfect. It was for one of his co-workers. Hello, Benji. All right, say hi, Benji. I need to get her a better path to her box. She has a box with her bed in it. All right, so I'm using this to cover it, to cover the wishing you. And then we're going to ink it like that. And then remember to pull this off, otherwise you're going to make a horrible mess and you'll be so upset. And then anniversary. See? So have a beautiful anniversary. Oh, it's good that we only did the 2 birds because there they are, mates. Oh, everything's falling down, falling over. All right, so what I just realized is we didn't use any gems. So let's put some gems on our cards and then we will call it done for today. These are, I'm really liking how these turned out. You know, I get these ideas in my head of what I want to do, and sometimes they turn out the way I envisioned it. Sometimes they turn out better, and sometimes they don't turn out at all. But this time it turned out wonderful. All right, so we're going to put one over here. And then we'll do one down here and one over here. And I've started, ever since on stage, I've started actually going with 5 instead of 3 on a lot of my cards. Amazing how that happens. Someone says something about, well, do you have a lot of leftover gems? And I'm thinking, yeah, I always got a lot of leftover gems. They're like, then do 5 or 7. 7's a little overkill, but I think the 5 looks good. Just adds a little sparkle. So let's see what we can do over here. We're going to do a small one that just stuck to my glass. All right. Don't want to put it behind the bird because I don't want it to look like poop. We'll put it right there on that flower. Yep, I just said that on camera. Do one over there. And one right there. And then I'll do another one over here. And then we'll tuck a larger one. Sometimes I like to tuck the larger ones under just a smidge. Okay, there we go. And there's 5, and that works too. Probably should have put something over here. Maybe I'll move these. Maybe I'll move these over here. So if they haven't been stuck down for too long, we can move them like that. All right, there, that looks great. Love it. All right, folks, so here are our 2 alternates for this week. I trust you like them. I trust you play with it. Not necessarily have to do exactly what I did, but just make it your own and see what you like. So we did that on the inside, wishing you a happy anniversary. And then we did have a beautiful anniversary like that. All right, so there are our 2 cards. And I trust you have fun playing with this. I apologize that my face cam is not working, still frozen, so you can't see me. So see you next time. I will post when I am going to go live tomorrow for the kit together, and we will check out those new clipboards and the kits that go with them. So have a great rest of your Thursday. See you later.